So before we start, just few announcements. We had Gishla was supposed to travel next week, and there was some confusion. But fortunately for us, Gishla is in Delhi next week, so we are adding one more class before the break, Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There are a few people from Master's course also, so we'll add the Thursday class of Master's course 5:30. So those would be the last classes before the break. We may also add, looking at Kishla's schedule, after speaking with the secretary, we may add a separate session for the guided meditation, both analytical and single-pointed. But that I'm not committing. We need to check the schedule. But Wednesday, Thursday, we are adding. Yeah, and I'll make an announcement on the portal also. Okay, thank you.
Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Aragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Aragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, now we're doing the what? Suffering change, right? Okay. Okay, this is very important. Number two. Now we are saying, if I'm not too sure whether I said it, our job is to see how to transcend the ordinary thinking. Did I say this before? Our job is to finally see how we can transcend the ordinary thinking. So, for example, if somebody serves me half a cup of tea instead of full cup of tea, I may feel irritated. Right? This is ordinary people's thinking. Whereas, whether it's half a cup, full cup, it's fine. Right? Okay, if the person gives a flower like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, it's fine. Right? So ordinary people, they're easily irritated by small things. So our job is to see how to transcend the ordinary thinking. Okay, now from what we discussed of this, the first suffering, the manifest suffering, we realize that all the sufferings that we identify as suffering, they all fall under the category of manifest suffering, the first suffering, right? But in reality, there's the second level of the suffering, and worse, the third level, right? So the second level of suffering, okay, let's say it is known as the suffering of change. It is known as suffering of change. So why the referent of this label, suffering change? What we're going to point to as suffering change? Why we call that as change? Why we call this as suffering? Two things. You getting it? Okay, let's say. How many of you like, or how many of you enjoy momos? Okay. Daraja, you also like momos?
Yes.
Okay, let's say how many pieces you like? 6 pieces. Very good. The first pieces were good. Right? Okay, let's say you like momos. So on your birthday, I'll bring momos. And then I'll bring momos. Then all the Tibetan staff will also bring momos for you. Right? 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates. 14 staff, 14 plates will come to you. Right? If you don't eat it now, you'll all get spoiled. Okay, so the 6 piece you eat, and 7, I said, no, I brought it for you. Right? 8, no, you have to eat it, I brought it for you. Happy birthday for you. Right? 8, then you say, no, Gishila, you are not kind. Right? Okay, 9, no, you have to eat it. No, you're very unkind now. But we force it. Finally, what happens? You start throwing up. Right? Then you start smelling the momo and it just makes you throw up. Okay. Tell me, which momo is more delicious, the first piece or the 20th piece? First piece is more delicious. Right? Let's keep the first piece last. And you'll eat the 20th piece that you eat first. Right? And then when you're full, when you no momos, then I'll give you the first piece. Right? No difference from the object versus the first or the third, 20th. There's no difference, right? Right? So we get the feeling that it is very pleasant. The first momo. But if the object, the momo per se, gives you the real happiness, the first momo, if it really gives you the object, from the object, it gives you the real happiness, then whether you eat it first time or the 20th, the last, in both cases it should give you happiness. But no, this happiness is not really the momo which is giving you. It's just a pleasant feeling inside. It serves as the trigger. But the first piece or the 20th piece, it doesn't matter. It serves as a trigger and the pleasant feeling is triggered inside. So that is what you attach to, not the momos. Then when you keep the first momo, first piece, the last, you eat it after you're full, you eat it last, same, it does not trigger the pleasant feeling. Instead, it triggers unpleasant feeling in you. Then somebody says, momos, please no momos now. Right? Okay, then you run away from momos. Okay, so the point is that the momo, which seems to be very pleasant, it changes into suffering. Initially, which seems to be very pleasant, delicious, the object does not change. Simply because the change happened within you, you see that it is very unpleasant. I don't want to have it. Right? Is enough. Okay. So the point is that this is what we consider as pleasurable or happiness. In actuality, from the object per se, it is not really the happiness. From the object per se, what seems to be giving me happiness, eventually it changes into miseries under a different situation. So therefore it is known as suffering of change. But the question still remains, why this is suffering? Right? What we consider as happiness. In other words, if somebody asks you, what is suffering of change? All contaminated happiness fall under this category. All contaminated happiness. All contaminated happiness falls under this category of suffering of change. Okay. Now, you may be wondering, okay, enjoying momo, which means that this is suffering. Yes, it's suffering. How it is suffering? Right? It is very pleasurable. There's not suffering. Suffering means unhappiness. It gives happiness to me. Enjoy momos. Okay, how is this suffering? This is a question. This is a very serious question. Because this is not considered suffering by ordinary people. So therefore, somebody who can think more seriously, that person known as the person who transcends the ordinary thinking. You're getting it? Okay, how? Let's say that let me give you an example of two prisoners. Two prisoners. Okay, both are convicted, right? Convicted and to be facing capital punishment after a year, right? Okay, so both of them were handed over to two different prison guards. Okay, you should make sure that he is intact for the whole 1 year. So the prison guards, they have the liberty to keep them in whatever way they want. So first prison guard, what he did was that he created a swimming pool for you. Then he created a small what is that? The younger ones, the eateries. What good eateries are there? Cafeteria, right? What like what? Not kijiri. Okay, let's say the caves. No, not caves. Okay, not caves.
Chips, ice cream,
Domino, right? Then he invited Domino to invite us to create a small cafeteria there, swimming pool is there, garden is there, right? Okay, then you go, wow, I did not ever possess a space with a garden, Domino for myself, and swimming pool. Wow, it's amazing, right? And the God is so kind to you, right? Okay, let's have a cup of tea together in Domino. And then they swim together, swimming pool. Okay, the second prisoner, the prison guard was very strict, right? How dare you are such a culprit, right? And then hardly given any good food, and then always the hard labor work. Okay, so they still have how much time? 1 year. Okay, tell me, which of the two prisoners, if somebody can escape, there's a possibility for escape, which of the two prisoner can escape the capital punishment? The first one or the second one? Why the second? Why the second one? Why? Tell me why. Your answer is correct. Don't trust my face. Your answer is correct. Tell me why the second one. Why?
Because over the period of time you go through a change.
The second one, why? Say it again.
Because
Over the period of time,
you will go through a change.
like what kind of change? No, your answer is correct. Yes, over there.
The suffering will lead into action. The suffering will lead into action to avoid the suffering.
Yes.
There might be the spirit of action, where the other one feels comfortable or going.
Exactly.
He's forgetting a death penalty.
The first person forgets the death penalty, right? Why he forgot the death penalty? The first person, why? Anyone? Because of the comfort, right? Because of the comfort, he forgot that he's in prison. The second person was so every day reminded by the prison guard that you are in prison. Hey, you must escape. You're in prison, right? So he will not say this, but say the fact that, hey, you're such a hopeless person, the brutal person, such a bad person. The moment somebody says like this, so unkind, it always reminds him that I'm in a prison. I'm in a prison. Prison is not a nice place. I should run away. So he has 1 year to plan, right? To dig the earth and go home, escape from the ground, underground, right? All these he can plan. First person will never plan, right? Tell me. Finally, the first person, finally, the last day, the next day is the final, oh yeah, I would not use such a hard the word which the lawyers may use. Okay, so the final day, right? Final day, and then he realized that his friend is gone. His friend is not more there, and he checked, and the friend has already escaped. He cannot escape. Now he will become so angry towards, angry towards the God for why?
For giving that comfort.
For giving the comfort. Because that comfort is not the real comfort. This comfort is a bait. Right? Okay. How many of you were involved in fishing? Lucky, no one. Good. Okay, but do you know that for fishing they use baits? Okay, tell me, what do you mean by bait? By the way, anyone, very quickly. What do you mean by bait? Huh? A trap, right? Okay, no, say in the conventional sense. Something attractive, something to allure, attract, right? Okay, so what kind of bait is used for for fishing? Worms or meat or whatever. So for the fish, is a rotten worm or a fresh worm? Fresh worm. Why not a rotten worm? Fish will not be attracted, right? It must be very delicious. Only if it is delicious, then it'll catch you, right? So therefore, what made the first person to go through this final problem and why the second person escaped was because the first person was trapped by the bait, right? So this, what we call is the comfort. This is actually not a comfort, this is a bait. If you realize, if this person, the first person, day one, if he realized that this is a bait, would he feel this as a comfortable place, or he will just run away? He will think of running away. You are getting it? Because for him to run away is much easier. Run away is much easier because the guard superficially has been very kind, keep him more relaxed, right? So God is very confident that he will not run away because he is trapped by discomfort. You're getting it? So discomfort is a trap. So who would consider trap as a nice thing? Trap is never a nice thing. Trap is a misery. Okay. Say, so this is a problem. This is a problem. Say, I'll tell you one thing. The Tibetans, they cross the Tibetans in order to go to Tibet. They cross the border, risking their lives. Cross the border, Nepal, Tibet border. Cross the border. There were policemen there. The border police were there. Then, once they were arrested, right? They were Tibetan policemen as well as Chinese policemen. Both were there. And what we have been constantly hearing was that of the two, Chinese policemen and the Tibetan policemen, which of the two is more harsh on the Tibetan, those arrested? Not the Chinese, Tibetans. Because if the Chinese policemen, they're not harsh on the Tibetans arrested, their life is not at risk, their job is not at risk. Tibetans, being kind to the arrested Tibetans, their job is at risk, right? Because the authorities, they know that the Chinese policemen, in any ways, they don't like the Tibetans. So therefore, whether they are being kind, not kind, it doesn't matter. Tibetans also don't like them, they also not like them. But the Tibetans can like them, unless they show that they don't like the Tibetans arrested, right? We can kick them out. So therefore, now the people right? People who are less intelligent, who are less thoughtful, they think that, oh, the Chinese policemen, they are so kind. They don't really beat us, but the Tibetans, they are worse, right? They are worse. They are so cunning, they are so cruel. They are the ones who beat the Tibetans more. Okay, but someone who's so wise, so thoughtful, right, will say that they are also the victims. Tibetan policemen, they are also the victims, right? If they don't do that, they're going to be in prison themselves. Chinese policemen, they don't do that, they will not be in the prisons, right? So therefore, who made them to behave like this? Because of the high authorities. Because they fear of whom? Of the high authorities, Chinese authorities. You're getting it? So the more thoughtful people can see what is behind. The masterminds, they will not be, they will not be just, okay, they will not feel angry towards the immediate people. They will feel angry towards the masterminds. For example, say, the Bombay blast, and the young boy who was executed. Huh? Kasab, right? Okay, Kasab. When the Kasab was hanged, people were dancing on the street. Did you know this? It came out in the newspaper. When he was hanged, people were dancing on the street. Who are those people who are dancing on the street? Are they the very thoughtful, who can just see the overall big picture of the whole terrorism, or just the immediate? Only those people who cannot see beyond. They think that everything is done by him, Kasab. In actuality, he was just a weapon. The mastermind is hiding behind. Right? And now, for us who know that he is just an instrument used by the masterminds, they must have told him that if you do this, you are serving God. The moment, even if you die, you will straight away go to meet with the God. Right? If this is what this poor guy is going to meet with the God, why did the mastermind, he did not go to God? He should go to God first. But he's not going to God. Maybe God may not be so good. Right? He's not going to God, and he's hiding, and he's sending someone to go to meet the God. Right? So therefore, now, if we know this, the whole picture, right, you'll feel angry towards the Kasab or towards the mastermind who sent this young boy, innocent boy there. To whom you'll feel more angry? Tell me. Mastermind. So this is how we transcend the ordinary thinking. You're getting it? Ordinary people, very ordinary people will feel angry towards the Kasab. When the Kasab is hanged, people celebrate. People dance on the street. In actuality, Kasab is just nothing. Right? This mastermind can create hundreds of Kasab. Factory is behind there. As long as you don't shut down the factory, right? Products. Even if you say that, oh, this mark, no, we boycott this mark, you break this mark. Hundreds of marks continuously being produced. Right? So therefore, if you really dislike somebody, then we should be able to see the cause. Find out what's the real cause. Likewise, why this person, the prisoner A, first prisoner, he had to go through the capital punishment, while the second person escaped. Because the first person was trapped by the bait. Which bait? The swimming pool, all these things. Okay, how many of us we are free from sickness, aging, and death? Huh? Okay, how many of us are in sickness, aging, death? We are all in this, Okay, so this process, sickness, aging, death, it is like capital punishment. Right? It's very scary. It's very scary. Right? If you come to realize that somebody is suffering from cancer, and third-grade cancer, fourth-grade cancer, right? Which means that person is bound to die. I'm also bound to die. Right? So the person who said, "Oh, I feel pity on you," the person who's saying this is also going to die. 100%. For example, this morning, right, for the last 4, 5, 6 days, I've been going to Ames to bless someone. The person who's going to bless is going to die. Yes, no? 100%. You're getting it? So therefore, if we feeling of, say, a little bit of the, say, tickling sensation to see that somebody's dying, why not we have the tickling sensation to own ourselves, that I'm also dying? 100% guaranteed, right? So if we see like this is misery. Okay, the next question. Is there a way out? Answers 100% yes, there's a way out. What's the way out? We don't have to believe in it. We don't have to believe in it. We have to gain conviction, right? Which we're going to learn later. How there is a way out. If there is a way out, right? And the concept of reincarnation, rebirth, reincarnation. If this concept of rebirth, which also is a part of this course, the development course, with this, if you gain conviction in the rebirth concept, and then amount of suffering that we're going through, and there's a way out, yet from the law of the rebirth, we come to realize that we have been coming in samsara, into this existence, samsara, since time immemorial till now. Since time, we've got this much of time, but we never escaped from this suffering. How many have escaped once? From sickness, aging and death? Never. Right? So we got all these innumerable lifetimes. The chance for us to get out, but we never got out. Which means that we are like the person the first person in the area with the swimming pool and these things. So just as this person in the prison with the swimming pool, so for this person failed to escape because of being trapped by the swimming pool, dominoes, right? Because of this being trapped there, we are also trapped in a place. What? Samsara. We are trapped in samsara. Okay. Who forced us to be in samsara? Who forced us? Say during the Nazi reign, right? I heard this last year I was in Israel and I was hearing all these stories. Amazing. Just terrible. I could not really fathom it. Every day, 1,000 something picked up, Jews picked up from the street and then sent to gas chamber. Unbelievable, unthinkable. You're getting it? Say like this, if somebody is there to forcefully throw you into the gas chamber like this, under the gunpoint, okay, you have no freedom. But for us, who forced us into the samsara? Sickness, aging, death, losing near and dear ones, right? And dissatisfaction and irritation, all these problems. We are trapped in this place where there's sickness, aging, death, despair, tension, anxiety, stress, depression, and the pain of losing the near and dear ones. And some of the small things happen, and you have a stomachache, headache, and then the irritation, agitation, discontentment. We just live in such a world of miseries. Who brought us in this world? Who forced us to be in this world? No one. There must be some swimming pool there. There must be some dominoes there. What are these dominoes, swimming pools? The pleasant experiences. The pleasant experiences, what we consider as pleasant experiences, these are the ones which trap us in samsara. Right? These are the ones which trap us in samsara. Just as the first person, later realizing in the end, the last day, realizing that the swimming pool is the one, swimming pool dominoes, these are the one which made me to go through execution the next day. He becomes so angry towards these, rather than seeing them as pleasure, seeing them as so cunning, so vicious. Right? So vicious. Why? Realizing that these are the ones which trapped him there, not allowing him to escape. Likewise, what traps us in samsara, not allowing us to escape, was the
Recent experiences.
pleasant experience in samsara. Right? If you realize them as such, we can experience pleasant experience. There's no harm in it. Okay, experiencing, say, what, the 5 rupees, no, the 1 rupee biscuit and 20 rupees biscuit, go for 20 rupees biscuits. It's fine, there's nothing wrong. But what is problem is, you feel attached to this. We feel attached to this. This is the problem. This is the problem. And how this is a problem, don't just believe in it. You must gain conviction, this is a problem, right? So therefore, once you realize this, of course, there's no harm in, say, getting good clothes, getting good house, getting good, say, car, and good food. There's no harm in it. The problem is that why this person, the swimming pool doesn't trap the person. The person will attach to the swimming pool. So therefore, he could not escape. Swimming pool didn't say that, hey, you must stay with me. Did the swimming pool tell the person? No. But person can enjoy the swimming pool. Meanwhile, he should have thought of digging the earth. Digging the earth and to go underground and escape. Right? He should have done both. He did not do it. Why? Is it because of the swimming pool? Swimming pool is a factor, but he felt attached to this. That is the one which made him not to prepare to escape. You're getting it? So therefore, somebody who's so wise would be in the world. Be in the world. Okay, whatever luxury, happiness there, you don't discover, oh, I'm afraid of good food, I'm afraid of good house, now all the happiness of the world, they are suffering of change, I have to run away, right? This should not be the way. The point is that realize that these are the traps, right? So, while realizing that these are the traps, we can partake in these. At the same time, don't feel attached. See how to have a sense of freedom. That I should not necessarily be attached to this, right? I can easily go out, I can come, go out, it's in my hand. This is how we should be doing. You get it? This is so important. Okay, in fact, this is very true. This is extremely true. If you don't think like this, we'll continue to suffer in samsara. We'll continue to suffer in samsara. For example, I was so fascinated one time that maybe like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, there was a very tiny rat, tiny mouse in my house. Right? I don't know where he came from. I don't know where he or she. Came, and I thought, okay, it's fine. Number one, I'm lazy to catch him. Number two, okay, it's fine as long as he or she enjoys my place, it's fine, but please don't disturb my place. And then 1-2 days is fine. He was going like this, going like, okay, we'll go in. You're like, doesn't matter. So he's my roommate. Then slowly I noticed that he was just damaging everything. Then I know you cannot be my roommate. Then I asked for a trap, right? And then easily the rat was trapped. And then how it was trapped, when it was trapped, I did not know. And the next morning, I saw that it was trapped. So maybe the whole night was there. He must be hungry. So I threw the biscuits for him to eat before I take him away. He was just looking for ways and means to escape. Right? I was watching him escape. He was not at all showing any interest in the biscuits. Okay, which means that now he realized biscuits, these things, they are the suffering of change. He realized that. right? These are the baits. But then I was still concerned that he's still hungry. He must be eating something. He should eat something. So what should I do now? Then suddenly a thought came, and I saw cheese. Then I threw some cheese. With the cheese, he did not realize it is a bait. The moment he smelled cheese, he was so busy, they grabbed at it and just eating it. Okay. So then he forgot that he's in cage. The moment he was with the cheese. So these are the examples, these are the teachings for us. It's not just, he is teaching for us. This is how we are trapped within the samsaric happiness. There are some happiness which we can easily sacrifice. There are some others which are so intense, which we cannot let go of easily, right? In other words, the more intense a happiness, samsaric happiness, contaminated happiness, more vicious they are as traps, right? Okay, this is what we really need to think of. Right? Okay, so with this, meanwhile, don't take drastic steps. Okay, now I realize that these are all the traps, right? Okay, I'll give my house to someone. Okay, my car I'll give to my neighbor, right? Okay, don't do that, right? Take safe steps. Don't do it. Otherwise, we may turn out to become someone like a very rich businessman in Tibet. How many of you heard about Jesu Milarepa? How many of you did not hear about Jesu Milarepa? Who never heard about Jesu Milarepa? Okay, Jesu Milarepa was an incredibly great saint. You must read his biography, is available in English. You must read this biography, right? Jesu Milarepa. M-I-L-A, just write, type Milarepa, it will come out, his biography. M-I-L-A-R-E-P-A, Milarepa, right? It's very inspiring, the biography. And say, just an ordinary young boy, right? Initially engaged in, because of the family problems, engaged in killing so many people. Then like Angulimal story. How many of you did not hear about Angulimal's story? Okay. Then eventually he turned to spirituality. Then he just exerted himself so much into practice. He became enlightened in the same life. So he was considered as one of the most prominent person who achieved full enlightenment within a single lifetime, right? His life story, you must read, very inspiring. Then one businessman, there was maybe a few hundred years ago in Tibet. So he happened in 11th century AD. So Milarepa happened in 11th century AD. Later on, this businessman suddenly got his hand on Jesu Milarepa's biography. He read this and he was so inspired, right? Jesu Milarepa, he just gave up everything and then he became enlightened. Just gave up everything and practiced Dharma and eventually became enlightened within a single lifetime. Then this man, he was so inspired, this businessman was so inspired. So what he did was that, okay, I must become like Jesu Milarepa. So then what he did was that he gave his house to his family members, then he gave this property to this relative, this friend, like this. Then he went to the mountains to meditate, right? And, okay, first day is fine. Then second day, a little hungry. Usually he had so many servants, now no servant, and no food coming there. He started to feel hungry. I said like this, nothing to meditate. He did not know how to meditate. So it's like a rabbit sitting there. And then in the night, then Tibet, very cold, maybe, so if not below zero. Even in the summertime, it would be like 5 degrees centigrade in the night, terribly cold, nobody coming to put blanket over him. Then after, say, day 3, day 4, day 5, he realized that I'm like a rabbit in the hill, there's nothing to be done, I'm feeling hungry, no food, I'm feeling cold, no blanket. He became so angry. He started saying that just a beggar, but he was a beggar himself. And he made me another beggar. Right? He cannot go back now. He lost everything. Right? So we should not become one like him. Like this businessman. Okay, so this is the suffering of change. Suffering of change, right? Okay, so with this, same, we have to realize this. And because of seeking this, what we call as happiness, seeking this happiness, we end up in all problems. Yes, no? Right? This is another reality. Just seeking this same political power, seeking the political power, how much you have to tell lies to people. In many cases, even killing happens. Even risking your own life. Just so you can kill others, others can also kill you. And you are seeking happiness where you are risking the life of the person who seeks happiness. Right? Risking life means daring to die. Right? Daring to die. Die means no basis of happiness. You are destroying happiness along with the experience of the happiness. Right? All these things. Likewise, anything, then fighting for the positions and fighting for this, or whatever. All these problems are there. So, in other words, that in the process of getting what we call as happiness is full of miseries. Right? Okay, IAS competitive exams. Right? Okay, some people, they spend years and years on this, and in the process, right? In the process, so what kind of trauma the individual person is going through, right? Okay, so some are successful, fine. The point is, what I'm saying is that it's not that these, what we call as the happiness, they are bad. They are not bad. When is bad? When we feel attached to them, that then is when we go wrong. You getting it? One. Okay. Then finally, of course, hearing this is quite, it makes us quite gloomy, heavy. Okay, now the little happiness that we get the break time tea and snacks. Even that, should I have it, not have it? Okay, now all happiness that we have now in the world, there's nothing there, it's so boring now. Okay, no. We can continue. We can continue our life. Meanwhile, don't forget that. Prisoner A could have done, while being in the prison, he could have done additional thing. What is that? He could have, in the daytime he can swim in the swimming pool. In the night he could have dug the earth, the ground, plan. And in the daytime again he can go to Domino's, right? Have chat with the prison guard. And in the night he could have done the things. Well, he could have done both. So he enjoyed them, and he can also escape from the miseries altogether. Likewise, the kind of life that we're going through, just keep in this boat, keep going in this boat. Meanwhile, there is another way, which is so beautiful, which will allow you such a freedom where you don't have to give up what you're doing. Right? You don't have to give up what you're doing. Meanwhile, you will see that you can gain such a total freedom where nothing can affect you anymore now. Right? So this point, nothing can affect you anymore now. This is something, a big summation, which you will understand it with the wonder later on, right? Okay, so this is suffering of change. Okay, for the time being. Later on we have to elaborate more, still more. Okay, what is number 3? Pervasive conditioned suffering, right? Pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay. Pervasive, conditioned, suffering. There are three signs. But the second one is what? Suffering of change. Suffering and change. Two signs. Now here, pervasive, conditioned, suffering. Three signs. We have to know each of these words. Three words. Pervasive, conditioned, suffering. So this, in a short form, sometimes we call it conditioned suffering. Meaning the third one. Okay, imagine. Okay. Say that you are in the workplace and you have your boss and you have the boss is there, right? Say the head. You have your own boss and then the head, right? Okay. Your boss is so every day. Okay. If it's something of this kind happens to you, don't take it that way, right? I don't mean that. Okay, I'm just casually giving you, creating a scenario. Say, in the mornings you go, the good morning sir, or good morning man. It's not always sir, it's always man also sometimes. Right? Good morning sir, good morning. This is the response, right? And then, for small things, easily shout at you. Almost every day, right? So the moment you think of, okay, now it's time for the office, it becomes so heavy. The time is like 5:30, closing 5:30. You start to become very happy, going out, right? Okay, this is the kind of the environment that we are in. And then sometimes you meet the head, the boss of your own boss. You meet with the head. And your head says that, oh, what is your name? Deepak. Hey Deepak, right? Yes sir, you must be thinking that he must be even more cruel, right? Hey Deepak, what are you doing? You seem very unhappy. No, come to have a cup of tea with me. Wow, he's so kind, right? He's so kind, okay, right? Okay, Deepak, if you have any problem, let me know, right? Your boss, sometimes he's a complicated person. If you have any problem, just let me know. You don't have to worry. Okay. Deepak is so happy with the boss. Very unhappy with his immediate boss. Okay. Then one day the boss sees your boss scolding you or shouting at you. And he says, hey, why are you shouting? Deepak is very kind. Hey, Deepak, come with me for a cup of tea, right? And your boss did not do anything. Okay. So what is the impression that you get of the two bosses? Immediate boss and the head.
The first one is very good.
First one, meaning the head is very good and the immediate boss is very unkind, right? Okay. Right? Okay, next. Then suddenly you discover something. Your boss was called by the head, right? And then was scolding him that you have been you're not scolding Deepak too much. Right? You should have slapped him. You're not slapping him, right? You're just scolding. What is this? You're not, right? You discovered that. Okay, now tell me, next time he comes, hey Deepak, again he's calling you. No, come with me. Would you be happy with him? No, right? You're getting it? Okay, now you realize why he is scolding you, why your immediate boss is scolding you is not because of him, because of the head. And who was meeting with you is very normal, very kind, but in actuality is very unkind. Because the mastermind of all the suffering that you're going through is that head. You're getting it? Okay. Now you have discovered a subtler reality. Immediate response was that my boss is very unkind, my immediate boss is very unkind, our head is so good. Now you discovered a bigger real picture, right? So why this head is the immediate boss was doing behavior like this was because of the head. You're getting it? Who was otherwise, presenting himself as very kind to you, is not really kind. So as long as my boss is under him, I will never be happy. You're getting it? Although he is kind to me, seems to be kind to me, but as long as my boss is under him, I will never be happy. You're getting it? Okay, this is known as pervasive condition suffering. How? Okay, let's do that. Say, okay, somebody, Deepak, do you have anything in your life? Say, someone come to suffering. If you have any complaint, you can complain to me. Right? I'm not the person who, masterminds. Any complaint?
Not now.
He's scared. You can ask him. Anyone who has a complaint over your neighbor, or your boss, or whatever, anyone, very quick. Anyone scared? Wow. Okay, about your neighbor. If the boss, there's a problem. Anyone, no problem. Yes, Rebecca.
I'll give the boss example.
Yes.
Giving me unreasonable deadlines.
Okay, giving unreasonable deadlines, right? Okay. Giving me unreasonable deadlines. Okay, now let's see that the deadlines, unreasonable deadlines. Say impossible that you can finish the work in 2 days. It should take minimum, say 1 week. And he's asking you to finish by 2 days, right? Deadline. Okay, so this is a problem. Now let's say that the pain that we go through, the pain that he is just, so actually, if this work is to be done, so which means that Rebecca has to do extra hours, many extra hours, right? Many extra hours. Okay. So, look, the pain that we have to go through, that she's going through, this pain, this is what? The manifest pain, yes? Stress, yes? Manifest stress. Okay. And then, say, the Rebecca's, say the sister or whatever comes, I'll relieve you for 1 hour, I'll do it, right? So this is, you feel relief. You feel relief. This is suffering of change, right? Suffering of change. Okay, now tell me that this is happening. Okay, now what we're going to learn. Now we're going to go into, we enter into a little technical side. Bear with me. We're going to go into a little technical side. We're getting it? Okay, this is very important. This is very important. Let's say, okay, you're dreaming. In the dream, you dream of, okay, how many of you decide, tonight I'll have a dream of meeting with my mother and receiving a cheesecake from my mother. How many of you are going to have a dream of your mother giving you cheesecake tonight? Oh, no one. You don't like cheesecake. Okay, we cannot decide. Why we cannot decide? We cannot decide what the dream we're going to have. You getting it? Okay. Oftentimes we can dream of ghosts chasing us. Right? Okay. Imagine that you dream of ghost chasing you. Ghost is chasing you. Tell me, what's the experience like? Happy? Unhappy? What experience? Very unhappy. So much of fear. Right? So scared. So much of fear. Okay. So the ghost is chasing you. And you're also running. You are running for your life. And the ghost is chasing you. And then, what happens? Your father comes. Hey, what happened? Right? Hey, what happened? Oh, the ghost is chasing you. And the father, the recruits a tantric, mantrik, a tantric, a pandit, right? And the pandit, some sort of Om Mani Padme Hum, right? Some mantras. And the ghost withdraws. You are happy, not happy?
Happy.
This is in the dream. You are happy. You are very relieved, right? And the father says, "You're now okay? Your name again? Very sorry. Huh?
Deepak.
Deepak, you're happy now? I'm very happy. Okay, can I go now? Yes, okay. And the father leaves. And again the ghost from behind the tree again comes back. Okay, tell me. The relief that you got from your father and the mantrik, casting mantras on the ghost and the ghost disappearing, is that a permanent relief or a temporary relief?
Temporary.
Temporary relief. This was not a permanent relief, right? This can change into miseries. You're getting it? And the fear that you had, the ghost chasing you, this is a manifest suffering. You're getting it? Okay. Now tell me. Okay. If you want to have a permanent relief, what should you do? Permanent relief from being chased by the ghost, the dream ghost, what should you do?
Wake up.
Wake up! You're getting it? Wake up! Therefore, one of the epithets of the Buddha is the fully awakened one. Wake up! You're getting it? Okay, now tell me, what's the real problem? What's the real problem? Is it the ghost chasing you, this is the problem? Or seeing the dream ghost as a real ghost? Which is the real problem? That's the problem, right? This is ignorance. The first one is manifest suffering. I have so much of fear. This is manifest suffering. This fear is because of earlier you had the experience of I'm free from the ghost. Free from the ghost is temporary freedom from the ghost. This is a suffering of change, right? Because of this, now you could feel that there's so much of fear in you that I don't want this experience. And these two things are happening. The ground is what? Seeing the dream ghost as real. You're getting it? Okay, this again, very important point. Okay, say you're dreaming and this is a ghost. Right? This is a ghost. Okay, so you see this ghost as, this is a dream ghost. And you are seeing the dream ghost as real ghost. And the fear arises. You're getting it? Okay, now tell me. Okay. Say, this flower. This flower is the object. And you're looking at it. Your mind is the subject. This flower is the object. And in the dream, you see the dream flower as the object, and your mind in the dream is the subject. So in the dream, when you look at the dream flower, you see this as a real flower. So, and then when you wake up, you see the dream flower as not a real flower. It's coming from the subject. You're getting it? Okay. Likewise, in the dream, you see the dream goes as from the object, not from the subject. When you wake up, you realize that the dream goes as from the subject, is nothing from the object. You getting it? Okay. Now, let's say, knowing that in the dream, seeing the dream goes as real, seeing the dream goes as objective real, this is ignorance or it tallies with reality. Okay, let me say this again. In the dream, seeing the dream ghost as a real ghost is a ignorance or a valid mind. Ignorance. Very good. So now, as long as you continue to see the dream ghost as a real ghost, you will never be spared from the fear of the ghost. So, when will you be free from this fear? When you wake up. When you wake up. You're getting it? How does it help you? When you wake up, how does it help you to remove the fear? Tell me, anyone. When you wake up, how does it help? Or tell me, when you wake up, your fear disappears, so you continue to run away. Hey, imagine that you're dreaming of a ghost chasing you, and your mother wakes you up, right? In the dream, you're running. Your mother wakes you up, right? You continue to open the door, run away, or you feel so relaxed? You feel so relaxed. Why are you not running? Because your fear is gone. Why your fear is gone? Because you awaken. How you awaken, you being awakened, how does it help to remove your fear? Tell me.
Because we can see the ghost as a subject.
Huh?
We can see it as a subjective reality.
We can see the dream ghost as subjective reality. In other words, dream ghost is not real. Many dream ghost is empty of being objective reality. Dream ghost is subjective real. Right? The moment you see that it's just coming from your mind, your fear dissolves. Right? So seeing the dream ghost as objective real is ignorance or wisdom. Ignorance. So ignorance is at the ground. Is what underscores all our fears. You're getting it? Ignorance is the one which underscores all the fears. You're getting it? Now, okay, this is very important. This is very important. Okay. This is very important. Say, how many of you prefer, I'll give you two choices. Say you are being chased by a ghost in the dream, and you have two choices. You don't want the fear of being chased by the ghost. Either I will send you a tantric in the dream, or I will make you wake up. Which do you prefer?
Wake up.
Huh?
Wake up.
Why not tantric? Why not tantric? Because it's a temporary, right? When the tantric goes away, the tantric will not accompany me 24 hours, right? Okay, later on he will disappear. Once he disappears, again the ghost can come back in the dream. So the best thing is wake up. Then I become free. I don't depend on tantric also, right? I become totally free. This is the greatest freedom. That I wake up. Greatest freedom. Nothing in the dream can affect me. Nothing in the dream can affect me anymore. This is the greatest freedom. If I have to depend on the tantric, I will always go with tantric. The moment I'm separate from the tantric, goes and come back. Right? So therefore, I'm heavily dependent. Dependent means you have lost the freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. Right? Okay, so now the point is, we have to wake up. Now tell me, if this is the case, say, which is to be blamed? The ghost chasing you in the dream, or you seeing the dream as real, which is to be blamed for the fear? Yes, in the dream. In the dream, if I tell you you're dreaming, don't afraid of the ghost, will you trust me? Or you'll continue to run away? In the dream, what will you do? You'll continue to run away. You're getting it? In the dream, who is more evolved? The one in the dream, depending on the tantric, or the one who is woken up? Who's more evolved? One who is woken up is more evolved. You're getting it? So therefore, the point is that in the dream, you don't see this ignorance as ignorance. You are under the sway. Why you are suffering the dream was because you are under the sway of. Hey, say you are woken up and your sister or your brother is fast asleep. From the body language, you can see that there's so much of fear in your brother, right? Okay, so there, actually he was going through the nightmare that the dream ghost was chasing him. Okay, now tell me. Okay, say, why was he so scared? Because of being chased by the ghost. You're getting it? One. If we ask him in the dream, if we're able to communicate with him in the dream, why are you scared? What is the answer? Hey, the ghost is chasing me. So for him, the ghost chasing him is considered as so bad, right? He cannot see beyond that. Now you will see beyond this. What is beyond this?
It's a dream.
Seeing the dream as real. This is the problem. You're getting it? The person in the dream doesn't realize that. Doesn't realize that the person is dreaming. The person says whatever is seeing is real. Whereas you could see beyond this. Not only the dream ghost is chasing him, but he was seeing the dream as real. You're getting it? The moment you see that he was chasing, he was under the sway of seeing the dream as real, then you see there are two problems. One is the dream ghost chasing him. Number two, him seeing the dream ghost as real. Him seeing the dream as real. You're getting it? Two problems. Of the two problems, which is the root? Second one, the seeing the dream as real. This is worse, right? Whereas in the dream, you cannot identify that, right? So somebody who can identify that is evolved, which is so rare. You're getting it? Okay, now the point is that when you go chased by a dream ghost, you have two problems. One is that the problem of the dream ghost chasing you. Fear, because the dream ghost chasing you. Number two, that you are under the sway of seeing the dream as real. Two problems. Of the two problems now, you are saying that of the two problems, the second one is worse. Second one is one which creates all the problems, right? Which creates the platform for creating happiness, creating miseries. You're getting it? In the dreams, somehow it's not always ghost chasing you. Always, sometimes birthday celebrations also happen in the dreams. Yes? So this seeing the dream as real is the one which creates a platform for happiness, happy dreams, terrible dreams, happy dreams, terrible dreams. Okay, happy dreams are good or bad? Very good. Right? Very good. Happy dreams are very good. But how many of you are going to have a happy dream tonight? We cannot decide it. If you can decide it, perfect, it's very good. If you cannot decide it, it is not in your hand. If it is not in your hand, you don't have the freedom to choose the dream. If you don't have the freedom to choose the dream, you have lost the freedom. Loss of freedom is misery, it's not happiness. Right? So what we call as happiness is actually we don't have the freedom to choose that. This is what creates problems. So therefore we want it, we are not getting it. There is pain. And okay, now the point is that what we're talking about? Pervasive condition, suffering. Okay. Now, this ignorance, seeing the dream as real, is the one which is like a platform, which serves a platform for creating happy dreams, creating unhappy dreams. Even the happy dreams is mixed with seeing the dream as real. Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. Even what we see as happiness is mixed with ignorance. Because it is mixed with ignorance, it is known as contaminated happiness. So therefore, when you speak about the suffering of change, what illustrations do you have for suffering of change? If you could remember, if you noted them down, what illustrations do you have for suffering of change? All contaminated happiness. What do you mean by contaminated happiness? Happiness mixed with the ignorance. You are getting it? Okay. Mixed with the ignorance. Okay. With the ignorance, you don't see the reality. Without seeing the reality, you don't have the freedom. Right? Okay. So this is contaminated. Now, if you transcend happy dreams and the unpleasant dreams, how do you transcend the happy dreams and unhappy dreams? Hey, do you ever have happy dreams? No? Wow, diploma people, they're very strange. Maybe how come that this group came to be? Huh? Yes, we had happy dreams. We also had nightmares in the dream, right? Bad dreams, good dreams, all. How do you transcend these two things? Wake up. When you wake up, you're free from the happy dreams, you're free from the unhappy dreams. So when you wake up, that freedom is known as uncontaminated happiness. That freedom far excels the happiness of what we consider as the mundane happiness, what we consider as happiness by the mundane people. The happiness where you transcend the contaminated happiness and the miseries, you transcend them, you get the uncontaminated happiness, which is so reliable, that is in your hand. Right? That is the total freedom. Okay. Now the question arises, what? Pervasive, conditioned suffering. Okay, what illustration do you have of the pervasive conditioned suffering? Okay, so there, the point is, okay, let's say that me, as a young child, very innocent child, say age, maybe 2, 3, I consumed. Say I go into the woods, into the forest, and then I consume some a poisonous fruit. Poisonous fruits growing there, looks so enticing. I tasted tomato in the home, and I thought this is also tomato. Then I ate it. It was actually poison. And the poison, some can affect immediately, some can affect after years. Okay, I took this. In fact, I did take something not like tomato, but something else. When I was in class 9, I took something. Terrible experience. Okay, I don't want to go to there. Okay, so say I took this poison, and then the effect is going to be felt after like 30 years or 40 years, right? Sometimes it happens. Same if you have a fall when you are young, age 5, 6, 7, you have a fall, you break your legs or something, and then you easily recover as a young child, easily recover. Then the effect will be felt after when you become 50, 60, 70, the effect will be felt so badly then. Okay, so like this. Now tell me, say I ate a poison. And after like 40 years, when I'm the 50, 60, I started having a acute problem, and which is so difficult to be cured. So this problem is what? Which of 3 kinds of suffering? Okay, the computer is hanging now. Manifest suffering, which I not only I identify, even doctors sympathize with my problem. Everybody around me has this problem. So this problem was because of what? If you know my history since my childhood, right? Since I was born, if you know my history so well, and you've been with me every minute, right? Then you realize he took a poison 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, right? Now the effect has been felt. Okay, so when the poison was eaten, there was no immediate problem. So now the immediate problem is, now the problem is felt now. But eating the poison, is that a problem or not? That is a problem, already a problem. The problem which is going to give an adverse effect like 30, 40, 50 years later. You getting it? Okay. So now, as long as I took this poison, I will not be spared. If I live longer, right, I will not be spared from the acute problem later on. So I'm under the sway of the effect of the poison, even though I'm not having say very intense immediate pain now. Just 5 years later, 10 years later, I don't have this pain, but I'm not free from the effect of the poison. You agree with me? Okay. So which means that wherever I go, I'm always carrying the potential for the pain, the later pains, because of this poison. I'm always with this. Okay. So, again the boss, right? Boss, the Tibetan stuff, they may be laughing. Yeah. Okay. Again the boss. Say the book. Right? How dare you do not finish this work on time, right? Okay, every day like this, every day is calling, right? Debug, okay, it's 8:45, your mind sinks, right? This is always what happens. Okay, right? Are you happy? Not happy? Not happy. And then one day you heard that your boss is going to go to America for 1 month holiday. Very happy, right? Okay. Now, tomorrow morning, you will not see the boss, right? You go to the office, there's a glow in your face. Wow, it's so happy. Wow. Are you happy or not? Not just Deepak, you, each one of us. Very happy. Okay. 10 days pass. 20 days pass. Right? And then 25 days, 29 days pass, and then the next day, and the closer the time approaches his coming, again you go back to unhappiness. You're getting it? So although you are temporarily relieved, but you're not freed from the problems altogether. As long as you are under the sway of the boss, whether he's in America or wherever, right, you're not freed from the suffering altogether. Right? So his scolding is one, but he's being under the sway. This is so important. His immediate scolding is one, that's the immediate problem. And the other one is that you are under the sway, that you are under the control of this man. Right? Even though the person sometimes, when he's in good mood, may give you one samosa. Right? When he's in good mood. Right? But deep inside you know that he's very bad, he's very cunning. So as long as, not the point is, as long as you are under the sway of this person, you're not happy. Right? So while you're under the control of this person, you often get the manifest suffering. And also sometimes once in a while, once in a year, you get one samosa. That is what? Suffering will change. But overall, every day you are under the sway of the boss. Being under this boss itself is a problem for you. Yes, no? Okay. So there are three sufferings. One is the boss scolding you and you have the blood pressure shooting up. This is one problem. Number two, once in a year he gives you a samosa. Your suffering will change. And next day he scolds you. And number three, what? Hey, number three, that you are under the control of this. Whether give samosa, whether give scold, whatever, every day you are under the sway or under the control of this boss. This is another problem. You're getting it? Of the three, which is the worst? Don't say last. Don't go for the shortcut, last one. You don't agree. That you are under the control of this person. This is the worst. Right? This is worse. Okay. Now, pervasive conditioned suffering. I'm going to explain the three words now. Why this is not a suffering? Because you said it. As long as I'm under this boss, I'm not happy, which means it's suffering. One. Now, why conditioned? Because all the problems that you have, the scold, and all the problems that you have is conditioned by this. Conditioned by him, right? He's the factor. Conditioned by him. Now, why pervasive? Wherever you go, even you go for holidays, right? Still, his influence pervades wherever you travel. To America, right? Sometimes into the pubs, right? Deepak, no, he was not going to pubs, I know. Yeah. Say some people, they go to pubs, right? Okay, my boss is terrible, he's called me, so today just let me release my stress, you go to the pubs. But this is actually another disaster, right? So the point is that as long as you are this person, wherever you go, whether you are with your mother, whether you're in the Mughal garden, wherever you go, deep inside, there's a problem. That is pervasive. It pervades wherever you go, right? Pervasive, conditioned, suffering. Suffering because you don't like it. Conditioned because this suffering is because of he being the factor. Conditioned means he's the one who conditioned you to have this suffering. Conditioned. Pervasive, wherever you go, as long as you are under his control, wherever you go, you are celebrating your picnic, your birthday party, right? Whether you're with your mother, whether you're in the Mughal garden, wherever you are, deep inside there is a problem. So this problem pervades wherever you go. This is known as pervasive conditioned suffering. Okay, so with this, I'd like to quickly finish this, wind this up, right? Wind this up. Okay. Say, poisonous flower. Poisonous flower. Okay. Then the stems, then the trunk, then the root. Poisonous flower, the stems holding the flowers, then the trunk holding the stems, then the root holding the trunk. You getting it? Don't forget it. Okay, poisonous flowers are the visible suffering that we go through. Visible suffering that we go through. These flowers are supported by the stems. These stems are the contaminated karmas that we did. Contaminated karmas, actions which we did. And these contaminated karmas are directly what made you to physically, verbally, mentally act negatively? Because of the negative thought processes. These negative thought processes are known as afflictions. Okay. Miseries are because of contaminated karmas. Contaminated karmas because of the afflictions. Right? Okay. So the flower of the miseries is because of the stem of the contaminated karmas. Stem of the contaminated karmas are because of afflictions of the trunk, and the afflictions of the trunk are because of the ignorance of the root. Root gives rise to the trunk gives rise to the stems give rise to the flowers. So ignorance gives rise to the afflictions, and afflictions give rise to the contaminated karmas. Contaminated karmas gives rise to the miseries, poisonous flowers, miseries. You getting it? Okay. So now we're going to go into a little technical part. Now you will not find it technical. You'll find it not technical. Okay. With all this background, you'll find it easy. Okay. I'll give you one example. Say, let's say, right? Okay, say again, in the dream. In the dream, you're attending class. Right? Then I said, hey, what is this? Right? Hey, what is this? Wow, there's a mobile there. There's a mobile there. Right? Mobile. Is there mobile in actuality? No. There's nothing, it's just a dream. But I showed this, and you say there's a mobile there. And then you look at it very clearly, very closely you look at it. You see it as a iPhone 8 Plus. 8 Plus is name? There's no 8 Plus. What is there? iPhone X. iPhone? 10. 10 X. Let's say iPhone X. Okay. You look at it very closely. Oh, it's iPhone X. Then what is your reaction? Wow, Sheila is so kind. He does not require iPhone X. My one is the 10 years old iPhone. Sheila, this is good for you. You know, can you give this? Can we exchange? Right? Okay. Then, so you are saying this, right? Mayan is saying this. Mayan, Sheila, can you change this with mine? And Deepak says, no, Mayan. I said it already. I thought it first, right? Okay, then Mayan and Deepak will have fist fight. With the fist fight, then the police come. Both of them end up in prison, right? Both of them end up in prison. And then Deepak's mother was just surprised. How come that my son, amazing, a deity-like, amazing, so gentle boy, he ended up in prison? How come? Then she rushed to the prison. Hey Deepak, what made you end up in prison? Because I had a fight, fist fight. What? Okay, so this prison is not a nice place to live. Prison is samsara. It's the flowers, poisonous flowers, misery, samsara. So this prison, why Deepak ended up in prison? Not Deepak, the dream Deepak. Ended up in prison, why? Why? Because he had a fist fight. Fist fight was the action. Karmas. Action. So this prison was because of the action. Fist fight. Hey, in the first, why did you fight? You never fought with anyone. Why did you fight? Because I love the iPhone X. I love the X. This attachment to the iPhone X Plus and disliking to the other person, the competitor, right? Hatred towards the competitor and the attachment to the iPhone X Plus. So that is a thought process. Attachment and aversion, thought process, that dictates your actions, right? So karma is decided by your thought process. That is affliction. So this affliction is because anyone, okay, this is my last question. Why did you have this attachment affliction? What made you have this attachment affliction?
Ignorance that it will give happiness.
Okay, which ignorance? Then be very precise. Don't think that you're philosophers. Be who you are. Don't forget how I started this scenario. By seeing the dream object as a real iPhone. You're getting it? Dream object as a real iPhone X. This is ignorance. You're getting it? This ignorance made Deepak to feel emotionally attached to this, which is affliction. This affliction led to the another affliction, which is hatred, disliking towards the competitor. So these two afflictions made him to fist fight, which is action, contaminated karma. So this karma made him to end up in prison, which is samsara. You're getting it? Okay. Now, this being the case, you see that the miseries arise from contaminated karmas. Contaminated karmas arise from afflictions. Afflictions arise from ignorance. Okay, 4 points. 4 points. Right? 4 points. Now, if you want to make it more elaborate, when you will be upgraded to the master's course, then you will have the 5. right? Not now, right? At the moment it's 4, right? Detail, it will go to 5. Now is 4. So with this 4, we come to realize that ordinary people we see, so which is the final problem?
Ignorance.
Ignorance is a problem. Okay, thus far, how many of us, when your neighbor throws garbage next to your door, right? How many of you realize that my ignorance is responsible for this problem? How many of you said that my ignorance is responsible for this problem? We never said it, which means that we never discovered that. And how many of you said that I want my place to be clean? I am attached to my place to be clean. Because of this, when somebody throws garbage next to me, I'm very unhappy. How many of you said it? We don't say this, right? This is wrong. This person did it, right? I'm attached to this. My attachment is a mistake. How many of you said it? We know, never said it. So this problem, we did not identify this. Number 2, right? Okay, maybe in the past life, I may have thrown garbage next to his door. So therefore now I'm suffering this. How many of you thought it? No, right? How many of you thought that this person threw garbage to me, so therefore this person is culprit? How many thought it? We all. So we only see the suffering on the surface. We never saw the suffering beneath these, right? If you see the suffering, if you start discovering, unraveling the suffering beneath these, all these are suffering. All these are suffering. We don't identify the underlying suffering. As long as we don't unravel, as long as we don't unravel the underlying suffering, the surface will continue to be there. The surface suffering will, as long as root is there, the trunk is going to be there. As long as trunk is going to be there, stems are going to be there. As long as stems are going to be there, flowers, even if you demolish these flowers, the next day again it will grow. It will continue to grow, right? Our miseries will never come to an end. Now tell me, if you don't want these poisonous flowers, what should you do? You should remove the stems. If you don't want the stems, what should you do? You should remove the trunk. If you don't want the trunk, what should you do? You should remove the root. Finally, if you have to do one thing, if you don't want the miseries, if you don't want the poisonous trees, poisonous leaves, poisonous flowers, what should you do? Uproot the leaves. Just uproot the roots. You're getting it? Just uproot the ignorance. If you don't want the miseries, just looking for the immediate problems. Okay, this person says something unnice about me, so I don't want to eat food, then I don't want to talk to anyone, right? You are not treating the root cause. You are just looking for the immediate problem. This is a symptomatic treatment. It is not treating the root, right? If you really don't want to go through the miseries like this, sickness, aging, death, the pain of losing near and dear ones. How many of us don't want to have the pain of losing near and dear ones? Everyone. But if we don't treat these 4 points, particularly the root, right? All these pains are bound invariable. They will continue to arise. This tape recorder of the suffering, sickness, aging, death, sickness, aging, death, sickness, aging, death, and the pain of losing near to one's, stress, tension, depression, this tape recorder will be played over and over and over again. It will never come to an end automatically, right? This drama of the miseries will play over and over and over and over again. It will never come to an end. All composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. So with this, you may think that even this suffering is also impermanent. It will also disappear. That's not true. All composite things are impermanent, but impermanence, there are 3 categories. Impermanence, there are 3 categories. One, whose continuum will automatically come to the end. Whether you put effort, no effort, it will continue, automatically come to an end. Whose continuum will automatically come to an end. This is one kind of impermanence. Example, 2017. Okay, 2017, how many of you made it short? made it stop, 2017. Nobody, automatically it came to an end. 2017, December 30 or 31st? Last day. 31st. 2017, December 31st, the next day 2017 is gone forever. Right? One. Number two, your mind. Your mind, nobody can bring an end. It is impermanent. But it will never discontinue anytime. It will never discontinue. Right? When you put effort, no effort, even if you put effort to stop the mind, it will never stop. It will continue to flow. This is another impermanence. It is impermanent, but its continuum will never come to an end. This is second impermanence. Number three, the good news and bad news. Number three, impermanence. If you put effort, the continuum will stop. If you don't put effort, it will keep going. What is that? Our miseries. Our miseries. Our miseries. If we put effort in the correct way, we can bring an end to the suffering altogether. If you don't put effort, it will continue to give the flowers, the poisonous flowers, miseries endlessly. Right? Okay, if you don't want to have the perennial, let's say the plants giving rise to the, let's say, giving rise to the flowers, if you don't want to see the poisonous flowers going, what should you do? You should uproot the root. Right? Likewise, if you don't want to go through the sufferings anymore, sickness, aging, death, stress, tension, depression, and easily affected by external factors, right? Pain of losing near and dear ones, so forth. If you don't want to go, if you want to stop all this altogether, where your mind will forever be freed and happy all the time. If you want to do that, what should we do? We should cut the root. What is the root? Ignorance. Wow, this is amazing. Okay, we'll stop here. So next session, we'll do the overview of the truth of the suffering. Then we'll move to the truth of cause of suffering, which is now almost covered. And the truth of cessation is fine. Then truth of the path, which will be very helpful for us. I'll give let's say the broad picture of the truth of the path. Okay, that's for next session. Okay, we'll do a quick direction prayer. Okay, this handout is distributed, not distributed. Okay, not distributed. It doesn't matter. So this handout is going to be distributed next time, but I'm not too sure whether we'll go through this next time. This is a little technical. We will do once the basic framework of this course is like 50% finished. Then we'll do this 16 divisions of the 16 the aspects of the Four Noble Truths. Okay, let us quickly do the dedication prayer. Page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful chariots, the Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushwar and Samadhi too realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praise as the best, but the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen rise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. This is actually the translation. This is actually the Tibetan version of the immediately preceding stanza, which is a very powerful stanza, which His Holiness recites every day. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then we are to remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtues, and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and to the upholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I attain the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Jubal Gem, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of Buddha, Dharma, and the beings of the snowland. With the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative force, perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separate from the perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma, by completing the qualities of the stations in the past, may could attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life.